Welcome, guys, to part 2. So if you guys watched our part 1, we're actually getting into what you were going to share.
Yes. Hi, guys. It's Rosa, Valentina again. And going back to this story from Mexico that just blew my mind with in regards to having personal responsibility to get yourself out of a situation that's already bad and not having that victim mentality. So when my time in Mexico, I got to see firsthand just how financially poor my family is and how much of a humble life they live. And I have an uncle that every single day goes walking to every town on foot carrying his big thing of what's it called, a cooler, to carry his ice creams in to sell it to people. And I asked my aunt, how come he doesn't have a car? Because that's rough, going on foot carrying that thing every single day. And she told me that a long time ago he had a debt, and to pay it off he sold the car and used that money to pay the debt. But now it's been years later and he hasn't bought himself a new car to go and do his work. So the way that I see it from an outsider perspective is, why not use that vehicle to go further out to sell his merchandise and hustle harder to pay that debt, versus he chose that instant gratification of selling the car for the immediate cash to get rid of the debt. But now he's stuck years later earning so little because he has to rely on going to sell by foot. And I have another aunt who did exactly the same thing, where my uncle got put in jail and she needed money and she sold their car to pay off their debt. And now she struggles getting anywhere because she doesn't have a car. And in my mind, I also asked my aunt again, well, why didn't she use that car to go get a job and make money? But it was that instant gratification of having the quick cash that's now put them in a situation where life is harder for them. And so that's something that I really saw from my time in Mexico, that you really have to take accountability for yourself, because no matter how much you want to do good for others or how much you want a better life for them, they have to want it too. Because if not, they're just going to keep making decisions that puts them further in the pit. So that's why people say, even if you give people that are in need a lot of money, they're going to stay in the same, if not the worst position, because they're the ones that are choosing to create their reality.
I'm so glad you touched on that, because I think that's where I always struggle, and this is something that I've shared with you in the past, is, obviously we love our family. We're always going to be helping them. But I think that has been such a huge struggle for me, because when you're already telling your family what to do, when you're already giving them como consejos and tips, like, what else can you do when they're not being proactive about wanting to better themselves, o mejorarse en la vida? Like, what else can you do? And I think for me that's been really difficult, because correct, you don't want to, in the past I would help people too much, and I think that when you help people too much, like you just said, it almost makes them self-reliant, because then they don't know how to get themselves out of situations, or they're always depending on you. And so that's something I had to learn, is like, you can still be kind, you can still be nice to people, but you have to you have to learn how to accept them at where they're at and just have grace with them, because it's like we all go through life, but like you said, the minute that you're repeating the same thing over and over, that's just you. That's just who you are, And it's difficult, I think, especially with family, just because as Hispanics, we're so close to our family. And, it's a struggle. But again, you get to decide to break those curses. And I'm so glad, even when it was uncomfortable, I think we've always been like that, where we're we don't care how uncomfortable it is. We're going to speak out, and we're going to change things for our family, because every time that we speak out, we break a generational curse, going back to that.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're breaking so many curses for Jasmine already.
Yeah. And with your family too, sometimes the best way, I think, to break the generational curse is doing the things that set you apart and letting them see that you got ahead so much further, to see that it's actually something that's possible for them too. Because a lot of times, especially when you're in that survival mode, you've basically conditioned yourself to that life. So that's the thing that you see all the time, every day. And when you stop to help people too much, it also becomes a hindrance to you, where they start dragging you down, because you're spreading your energy everywhere. And if you would have gotten further down the road, if you're trying to drag your family to heal those generational curses, you're going to go way slower and you're not going to get as far. Versus if you're the one that decides to go way up here, and then your family sees you and they're like, hi, all the way from a distance, and they're like, okay, I want to sprint to her too. And you're not dragging everybody down. I feel like that's the best way to break those generational curses, especially when a lot of my family in Mexico hasn't even had the courage to dream as big as I do, is what I noticed.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because I think for me that was a huge lesson, where I feel like I'm very like black and white. Like I don't know how to be in the middle. Like I'm very like, you're either with me, or I feel like you're just not on the same page with me. And I feel like for me, like that's something that I've had to like kind of like learn from you, is you don't have to like automatically isolate yourself from those people, because I feel like that's something that I used to do a lot, where I used to isolate from you know, just family, like, or people that didn't align in the same way. Which, don't get me wrong, I think that there's a season for everything, and that's really good to isolate yourself from those people that are not helping you grow. Don't get me wrong, but I think at the end of the day, it's something that I struggle with myself a lot. It's like we're the bridge to help them get better. And so, like you said, like people have to be proactive and they have to get better. But if they're not making those choices, correct, distance yourself away from those people, and then they will slowly start to see after you take action. And so for me, I realize that like more people are willing to listen to you, and more people are willing to, you know, see like, oh, if she's doing it, maybe I can do it too, after they've already seen that you've had success or you had results. Because I think that was a mistake that I did early on, where every time I learn new information, I'm like, oh, look guys, like we can do this and stuff like that. And it's like, people won't actually really believe you, or they don't really know what you're talking about until you show them. And so I've had to learn how to like have grace with my family, understand like, okay, they don't know what they don't know, and I'm the bridge for them. But at the same time, like they have to take that action too. So it's hard, but I think that it's like you have to meet somewhere in the middle, at least for me.
Yeah,
you know?
it goes back to how they need to want it to.
Yes, for sure. But did you want to share anything else before we end today's episode? Because I know we shared a lot. But I think we shared a lot. We would love to hear you guys' questions and feedback and comments. So let us know down in the comments. Porque I'm thinking like, I feel like this is something that we could just do like monthly. Maybe we have like monthly episodes or like just discussions. Because we always hit on a lot of good topics when it comes to like healing and breaking generational curses. And, you know, just a lot of things.
I would actually love that. However, I'm joining the Navy soon, and to go into why, because you were asking me why I was doing it so much, I actually went to Mexico to pursue my dreams of acting, because there's a really famous acting school in Mexico City. But when I was leaving Mexico, it's really interesting how the airports there are ran by the Army. Like you see Army people everywhere. All around, and it just started reigniting a dream that I had a long time ago, where I always wanted to join the Army in the back of my head, but I was undocumented, so I couldn't join the Army. And then I got married, I had a kid, and all these things where you just put those dreams to the side and think, oh, I'll never achieve it. And lately, that's something that I started noticing, that God has a funny way of all the dreams I had previously in my life and put in my back pocket thinking I'll just never do it. It's like he's going back and fulfilling each single dream that I had along the way. Because when I was 18, I wanted to be a personal banker. I couldn't get into it. And then a few months ago, I had a job as a personal banker, and I got it like this. It was so easy. And now with this of me going to join the Navy, it's a dream that I had within me, and I wasn't even considering going into the Army or anything. It was me having those little things of the universe planting those seeds, like, hey, there's Army people everywhere, look at them, look at how good they look. And then on the airplane, I was actually meditating, and what I've been doing a lot recently is visualizing myself as a future version of myself that I want to be, to see what kind of person I am, what kind of decisions I would have made to get myself closer to that reality. And it was funny enough, because when I was visualizing myself as a successful actress, I was being interviewed by somebody, and the woman said, do you have any regrets or anything that you wish you would have accomplished if you hadn't been an actress, or if you wish you would have done throughout your life? And I surprised myself by saying, I wish I had joined the Army. And that hit me, because then I thought, well, if I follow my dream of being an actress now, then I'll probably be too old to pursue joining the Army later on. I have to do it now, and I can be like Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, who was in the Army first, and then she became an actress. So then that just made me like ignite such a fire passion. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna join the Army, and I have my whole life ahead of me. I'm 23, and I'm so grateful that I'm doing things now instead of putting them off minutes. So that's why I'm joining the Navy.
Yeah, no, I'm so proud of you, because I even told you, I'm like, I mean, obviously I don't want you to leave, but I'm so proud of you that you're always like following your gut and what makes sense for you. Because at the end of the day, I think that I can only talk about, obviously my experience, but so many people will place their beliefs on you or just what they want from you, because I know that was my experience, where like my family or everybody around me wanted this and this and this for me, but it's like, I don't even want that. So I just applaud you for doing what's best for you.
Thank you. Hopefully we'll be back here soon, though.
Yes.
And we'll have more stories to tell.
Yes. But that is it for today's episode, you guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Let Rosa know if you guys want to see her for another episode, because I think that we always have really good episodes. As you guys can see, we can talk for hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is it for today's episode.
Also, if you have any questions, or if there's a certain topic that kind of turned a light bulb inside of you that you would like us to discuss more on, let us know in the comments. And I am so grateful to be here, sending you all love.
We will see you guys in the next episode. Bye, you guys. I remember what Jasmine always does.
Oh, yeah.
With the little heart.